fantabulous American Treasure Tour Museum. Quite possibly the coolest pop culture museum on the planet. This area of the museum we call the Toy Box, and you are about to view a collection amassed by one man who wishes to remain anonymous. We honor that request as he wants the items collected to be the stars of the show. His passion has brought together one of the world's largest collections of pop culture from the 1870s to present day. The collection is constantly evolving, and we like to say there is always room for more.
As your tram ride begins, we would like to remind you to remain seated at all times and do not get off the tram. We encourage you to take out your phones and cameras to take lots of pictures and videos. If you post on social media, please tag us. There will be a lot to see on your tour today, and we always like to know what caught the eye of our guests as they traveled along.
Around the first corner on the right, say hi to our wonderful gorilla. He stands guard here 24/7 to make sure he is in place to greet all of our guests. As you continue looking right, say hello to Dora the Explorer in the Soapbox Derby car. Today she is being co-piloted by Alf. On the left, we have a replica of a Conestoga wagon, along with Cowboy Bob. Real Conestoga wagons that traveled across this great country were actually 18 feet long and 11 feet high and could carry up to 12,000 pounds of cargo. Our collection got started with automobiles. The first of these is on your right, the blue 1956 Thunderbird. This is a beautiful sports car equipped with a hardtop convertible. These models were made for 3 years between 1955 to 1957 and designed to compete with the Chevrolet Corvette. For a family car, look no further than the next car on the right and you will find a 1958 Studebaker station wagon. The price of this automobile when it first arrived in the showroom was $1,776. We have around 70 classic vehicles here in the museum, some of which you get to see on foot and some from the tram. If you love cars, make sure you pick up a brochure for our sister company, the Classic Auto Mall in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. They have a huge selection of vintage automobiles for sale. If you would shift your focus to the left, we have 3 circus wagons filled with delightful automatons. In the late 1890s, electricity was coming to our big cities. At the same time, mass production of plate glass was developed. Therefore, storefronts opened up with large display areas and the art of window dressing began. At that time, most people did not have electricity in their homes, and the public was captivated by the moving displays and electric lights in the store windows. Just like the mechanical music you will hear today, these displays were early forms of marketing. You went where the beautiful music and interesting moving objects were located, and the businesses hoped that you would come inside and spend your hard-earned dollars. The automatons we have on display in these circus wagons are just the tip of the iceberg. We have many more to show you later in the tour. Continuing to look left, you will see our tableau of dogs playing poker. If you lived through the 1960s, chances are you remember dogs playing poker and pool as artwork that hung on many family room walls. These anthropomorphic animals first appeared on calendars that advertised tobacco products and have become iconic in our American culture, and they are still being reproduced today. Please make sure to look at our framed and lighted poster of one of the most famous of these paintings, titled A Friend in Need. Properly titled, as you can see, the bulldog is slipping his buddy an ace under the table. Was he a good dog or a bad dog? Only you can decide. Moving along, we have an assortment of vintage amusement park items on your left, starting with the blue Lugsy Brother auto scooters that are known as bumper cars. They are from the 1940s. Behind them are Dodgem bumper cars that represent the 1950s. Following them, there is a 1930 roller coaster carriage made by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. This carriage is wooden and was made at a time before there were safety regulations. No seatbelts or lap bars on this ride. You just held on and prayed when you went speeding down the hills of the roller coaster.
Как тебе этот роллер-костер?
As we round the corner, there is Albert Einstein on the left, along with a vintage tractor seat collection, as well as vintage tractors. Looking left, check out the typewriters located by the tractors. Why do we have typewriters? The answer is, we have a lot of visits from student groups, and many of them don't know what a typewriter is. In addition to typewriters, we also show young people a payphone and vinyl records. Mind blown. As we travel along, looking right, we have lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! Look right to see our favorite animal in this display, Calamity Jane. She has a gun in her holster, whiskey in her boot, and a custom-made cowgirl hat. Now that is what we call really good ranch dressing right there. Across from Calamity, you will see the Rupp motorcycle. The red cycle with two wheels in the back and one in the front. This was made in the early 1970s. Elvis Presley had one just like it. Our collector loves Elvis, so he had to have one too.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Next to the Rupp are beautiful red, white, and blue Stars and Stripes motorcycles. They were made in California and custom built to resemble the iconic motorcycle Captain America from the 1969 movie Easy Rider, starring Peter Fonda. But the star of the show in this aisle is the first self-propelled wheelchair invented in this country. Here on the left, we have the Custer chair, designed by Levitt Luzerne Custer and introduced in 1916 in Dayton, Ohio, where Mr. Custer lived.
Вау.
The wheelchair we have on display is battery operated and used mostly indoors. They also made gasoline-powered wheelchairs for outdoor use. Notice the tiller bar that was used for steering. The wheelchair sold for $175. At that time, the average price of an automobile was $700. Many people, including men coming home from World War I, used the Custer chair. As we drive along, looking left, you will see motorcycles. And don't miss the ragtop convertible display on your right. First, we have a 1967 Oldsmobile, then the Cannon Blue Chevrolet Corvette. Chevrolet started manufacturing Corvettes in 1953, but the first year they were in the showroom was 1954. Our gorgeous 54 Vet is all original under the hood. After the Corvette, we have a 1960 black Cadillac with red leather interior. Notice the dual headlights on that beautiful automobile. 1960 was the first year that dual headlights were legal in every state. This car also has the big tail fin styling in the rear of the automobile. If you were driving that Cadillac in the early 60s, you were riding in style. Around the corner and on the right side of the tram, we have a really big shoe. Some people ask why. We ask, why not? This shoe is actually from a now defunct cable channel called Wedding Central. And since we love all things oversized, we were happy to add it to our collection. After the shoe is the gigantic Ronald McDonald in his blue jumpsuit, followed by a bicycle built for 7. This red bike is called a Kobe, which is short for Conference Bike. Designed in San Francisco, there are 300 of these bikes in 18 different countries around the world. You will see all kinds of bicycles here at the American Treasure Tour, including the early penny farthing and many models sold in this country from the 1950s and onward. As we go down the corridor, please note that you are in a building that originated as a B.F. Goodrich tire factory. In the 1970s, they were producing 12,000 tires a day here. After being in business over 50 years, the tire factory closed in the mid-1980s. Rather than demolishing this huge building, which is 1,200,000 square feet, the new owner repurposed it, and today it houses many businesses, including our sister company, Arnold's Family Fun Center. Check out Arnold's Fun Center for the biggest and best go-karting, arcade, and bowling east of the Mississippi.
Смотри, машинки.
Это реально Монголия, ты знаешь? Посмотри на эту снимку.
Toward the end of this hallway, on the right, you will find the glitzy, sequined mummer costumes. The mummers are a Philadelphia tradition, and their first official parade was on New Year's Day in 1901. The history of the mummers is as colorful as their costumes and began as rivalries between Philadelphia neighborhoods. As we enter the next room in our journey, you will find that just like in our music room, we have miniatures here. On your left, the first display shows a miniature circus from the early days when the circus came to town on the train. The canvas tents were set up in a field, and the three-ring circus and sideshow became the town entertainment for a few special weeks. The second display is a miniature amusement park from Moundsville, West Virginia, and used to be in an ice cream parlor window. It has the distinction of being handmade with no plastic. It's all wood and metal, and it is run by old Singer sewing machine motors. The last display is from the state of Minnesota and was made by a husband and wife team, John and Hilda Newman. They displayed this miniature fairground in their appliance store window.
Это же тоже органы. Вот органы.
Такая коллекция органов. Музыкальный бакс. Музыкальная шкатулка.
That machine we just heard was a Wurlitzer Model 153.
Охренеть можно.
столько всего.
Ты знаешь, мне почему-то напоминает дистиллерскую. Помнишь, с игрушками? Но это 100 раз лучше.
Artisan right here. Now, unfortunately, it's not working right now. So I'm gonna put an extra one down the way to make up for it. Now, audience gonna start talking about this. We're gonna have to pretend like we heard it.
Как тебе-то собачка лохматая? Прямо Шварц?
We are now in the band organ room.
Шварц магазин?
That machine we just heard is the second band organ in on your right.
It's the nice blue color. It is an artisan band organ from North Tonawanda, New York. That's up by Niagara Falls. And you may be surprised to hear that its identical twin sister is just to the left of it, the machine that appears to be green. We've repainted the blue one so you can see what it looked like new. And the green machine shows you about 100 years of weather and wear. Unlike the Nickelodeons you can hear in our music room, band organs are typically outdoor machines. They live on fairgrounds and with carousels, that sort of thing, so they tend to take a beating over time battling the elements. In front of our band organs are many, many more of the storefront animations and displays that we saw just a few of in our circus wagons. We are absolutely surrounded by them in this room. But throughout each of them to your right is a giant coil. It is a giant slinky. It's actually the world's largest slinky. It's 100 feet long and 48 inches in diameter. Slinky was invented by a Penn State graduate named Richard James, and the first store to sell one was Gimbel's in Philadelphia. It is truly a Pennsylvania-based toy. So we will travel down the length of this slinky. We will hear some more band organ music as we go along. Just up ahead on your left is an item you surely cannot miss. The Popsicle Stick Castle. This castle is so large, it made its way into the 2009 Guinness Book of World Records. It was constructed by just one man, Steve Gooman. He's from Connecticut, and he constructed this castle from 396,000 popsicle sticks, and it is held together by 4 gallons of Elmer's glue. Before we listen to some more band organ music, please note that just up ahead on your right, you will be passing the oldest functioning automaton in the collection, the Sword Swallower. He dates back to the late 1890s, so he would have been in one of the very first storefront window displays in America. The machine you just heard is located in the front right corner of the room and is golden yellow in color. It is the Wurlitzer Model 165. It was the last band organ the Wurlitzer Company ever made. It was shipped to Griffith Park in Los Angeles, California in 1939, where it accompanied a carousel for many years. There are only 11 of these machines left in the world, and we have 3 of them here at the American Treasure Tour Museum. You will hear the other 2 play later in your tram ride.